Okay, so now I saved this last video just to separately do the story problems that I want to look at. So let's go ahead and look at them. So when you were writing ratios and proportions, you must include units. So that's something to remember. Notice within all of these problems, there are some units associated with the numbers. So we want to make sure we kind of keep those units on track to the correlating number. Okay, so let's look at the first example. We're going to do 34 and 35. So we have 2 tablets contain a total of 50 milligrams of a drug. How many milligrams of the drug are in 10 tablets? So what we're going to go ahead and do are set up proportions. Notice we're given 3 values only and find that unknown value. Well, let's look at 34. Well, what do we have as our first ratio? Well, our first ratio, we'll do one example as extremes and means, and the 35 we'll do with fractions. Well, the first ratio, they're saying for every 2 tablets, we have 50 milligrams. So that's our first ratio, 2 tablets to 50 milligrams. And that is equal to, well, we want to figure out how many tablets then for 10, or how many for 10 tablets. How many milligrams do we have then? And remember now what we do. We multiply the extremes together. So then that implies now we can solve. So we'll have 2 times x, and then we multiply the means together. So 50 times 10, which is 500. And now we can solve for x if we divide both sides by 2. And we can see here that x is then equal to 250. And remember, we were talking about milligrams. So remember, this is a story problem. So therefore, what did it say? There are 250 milligrams for 10 tablets. And remember, we can always check. So you can go ahead and check the extremes. So 2 times 250, that's equal to 500. Well, 50 times 10 is also equal to 500, so we know that this answer is valid. Let's go ahead and now set up using the fractions method of cross multiplication for number 35. So number 35 says, if 250 milliliters of solution contains 90 milligrams of a drug, so that's one fraction, there is 450 milligrams of a drug in how many milliliters? So then we're going to set up a statement equal to now the second part of the sentence. So first we had 250 milliliters to, scroll up, to 90 milligrams. So that's the relationship between milliliters and milligrams in this case. So 90 mgs. And that is equal to, they told us, there is 450 milligrams of a drug in how many milliliters? So now the second milliliter, that is the unknown. So we have x milliliter is equal to, what did I say? 450 milligrams. And now we go ahead, oh, I don't have a lot of room. Let's bring this back up then. Now we can go ahead and cross multiply to get our equation. So we'll have 90 times x, which gives us 90x, and 250 times 450, which gives us, let me make sure I write down the number correctly, 100,000, 1,000, I'm sorry, 112,050. And now we can go ahead and solve for x. So again, I'll be conscious of numbers on a final. So we multiply 250 times 450 to get 1,000, or I'm sorry, 100 12,050. Okay, now we multiply by 90. Sorry, I got tripped up on reading that word for a second by the ones. Now if we divide by 90, we can see that 90 divided by 90 gives us just x. And if we look at the division on the left hand or on the right hand side, we end up getting just 1,1250. And remember, we were talking about milliliters. So therefore, for 450 milligrams, we need 1,250 mLs. And again, you can check. I highly recommend checking. And remember, what we're checking is if the product, the cross multiplication is correct. So if you notice, it will end up working out if you check at home. And that is it. Congrats for making it through week 6.